This is Utah's CW30 News at 9.
Crazy. There's just too many shootings, too much bad stuff going on here. I mean, you hear about it, but this is insane.
Now at 9, we're following developing news out of San Bernardino, California tonight after a mass shooting inside an office complex leaves more than a dozen people dead. Right now, dozens of officers are outside of a home in Redlands, California that they believe is linked to today's shooting. Police are waiting to search that home. They have a robot going inside first to make sure the home is safe before they enter. We'll, of course, keep you updated. Now, this is all tied to the deadly shooting in San Bernardino today at a center for people with developmental disabilities. At this point, we know 2 suspects are dead and 1 person has been detained. The hunt for the gunman spanned several miles and several hours after heavily armed people opened fire, killing at least 14. Paul Verkaman reports.
Just hours after more than a dozen people were killed in San Bernardino, California, police converge on a nearby neighborhood. You can see a black SUV riddled with bullets. A possible suspect lies motionless on the ground with what appears to be a gun by his side. Law enforcement officials say 2 suspects were in the SUV with AR-15 type weapons. In the wake of yet another mass shooting, President Obama shared his thoughts in an interview with CBS News.
There are some steps we could take, not to eliminate every one of these mass shootings, but to improve the odds that they don't happen as frequently.
Eyewitnesses reported seeing more than 1 shooter, all heavily armed.
She said the guy came in next to her office and I guess started shooting. They locked themselves in her office. They seen bodies on the floor.
As investigators searched for the gunmen, fire crews helped the injured, putting them on stretchers and attempting to save lives. Meanwhile, other people still inside the building hid and contacted loved ones.
Shooting at my work, people shot, in the office waiting for cops.
But she's okay.
Pray for us. I am locked in an office.
I'm Paul Verkaman reporting.
And we learned about an hour ago those suspects tonight, 1 male, 1 female, both dead. As the situation in San Bernardino continues to unfold, part of the law enforcement effort is happening right here in Utah. Good for Utah's Rick Aaron joins us live from Sandy with the role that Utah officers are playing in this investigation. Rick?
Kimberly, this is the Public Safety Education and Training Center at Salt Lake Community College's Larry H. Miller campus. Now, up on the 3rd floor of this building, a team of state employees is working on the investigation into the San Bernardino shooting and a possible Utah connection to the suspect's vehicle. Inside the Statewide Information and Analysis Center, or SIAC, a team of analysts is evaluating and relaying information to and from San Bernardino.
They're looking at monitoring social media. They're answering inquiries from other locations around the country and also from Southern California, being able to check databases. And so we're fully staffed right now, and that's the way it is when something like this happens.
Some of that information will center on the suspect's SUV, which reportedly had a Utah license plate.
We're in communication with their fusion center and discussing plate information to confirm, or provide any additional information they might have.
If that vehicle does indeed have a Utah license plate, it raises some very interesting questions about whether that car was owned, rented, or perhaps stolen from here in the Beehive State. Also, some questions about the suspect's possible connections to here in Utah as well. Reporting live in Sandy, Rick Aaron, Good for Utah.
All right. Thanks, Rick. While we're learning more about the details of today's attack, there's still little word on a motive. Tonight, we spoke with a retired FBI special agent about why someone would have opened fire on a Christmas party full of county employees. Juan Becerra says one thing is clear: these suspects went in prepared, and their goal was to cause mass casualties. The retired FBI agent and now UVU professor believes this was likely an act of domestic terrorism and that someone somewhere had to have known something.
In a few hours, or maybe in the next succeeding days, we're going to see, or they're going to identify who these individuals were. And inevitably, someone's either going to be on the news, or somebody's going to say something to a news reporter. They're going to say, well, I knew these guys. I knew these guys were crazy. I knew that they would do something crazy. Again, where were you?
But Sarah says, again, you need to remember, if you see something, say something. If something doesn't seem right to you, he says it's everyone's responsibility to speak out. As the shooting investigation in California continues, it can make some fear. Would happen, that happened in San Bernardino, happens here. Jess Gomez with IMC says emergency teams go through rigorous training and drills on a regular basis to prepare for situations like this.
But unfortunately, in the world we live in today, we have to think about this often. We have to prepare for it, practice for it, drill for it, and really be prepared, because we are really the last line of defense for these people who could potentially be injured.
Intermountain Medical Center also says they are prepared for natural disasters like earthquakes and go through training drills on a regular basis. And we will have continuing coverage as the investigation into the mass shooting continues to unfold. We'll bring you the latest on the victims and those suspected of the crime, both on air and online at goodforutah.com. In other news tonight, Provo police are searching for a man who they say groped 3 women near BYU yesterday. Officers say each case happened in broad daylight. Police say they want to get the man off the streets and believe there are more victims out there.
It's not good to so use whatever force necessary you need to get into a safe environment.
Police say if you are a victim or know about these cases, to give them a call. All information will remain confidential. New information tonight in Salt Lake City. A man accused of hitting a female officer with his truck back in November has been arrested. Probable cause statement says that 28-year-old Jacob James Richardson was inside a truck when he was approached by police. Officers say Richardson threw his truck into reverse, dragging one officer as he continued driving backwards. Richardson was arrested yesterday after admitting to police that he was the driver of that truck. Police say a wanted man created quite a chaotic scene today when he smashed into a number of cars in one Salt Lake City neighborhood. This is one of the cars that fugitive accused of running into. The owner was parked along 200 South and 700 East in Salt Lake City. The fugitive's run for freedom came to an abrupt stop near that intersection early this morning. He took off running, but police caught up to the suspect about a block away. Now, of course, owners of those cars were shocked to discover their damaged vehicles this morning.
Since she came back in like 15 minutes just bawling, saying her car was total.
Teamed up to arrest the man who was wanted in Wyoming. Police said the suspect was injured and taken to a local hospital. Time to turn gears now and switch to weather. It's sure getting chilly, so what can we expect for the rest of the week? Well, Adam Carroll joins us now from the Pinpoint Weather Center with the latest. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Kim, you know, we are in a weakened version out there right now, and we will continue to deal with that over the next couple of days, but it does look like we'll see a little bit of a bust of the... Oh, excuse me, tripped over a box that was in my way, but we'll look to see that inversion break here on Friday as we get a little bit of a southerly breeze kick up. It gets warmer as well, and then most of it will break, 90% or so of it, but for now, we're looking at moderate air quality here for Salt Lake currently, also up in Cache. Cache County probably has it the worst, and also in the Uinta Basin, Uinta County area. Also, Duchesne is under that yellow as well. However, tomorrow, most counties will actually be in the yellow, unfortunately. So the air quality will probably be at its worst tomorrow before it's getting a little bit better by Friday into Saturday. But you can see a little bit of cloud cover rolled through most of the day. Saw a little bit on the high cloudiness side of things, especially across northern Utah. Not so much across southern Utah out there, but things a little clearer out there now. Hasn't seen a whole lot of precipitation out of this. And what we did see didn't really hit the ground. But it is cold out there, and it will remain cold overnight tonight, just like it was last night, with most places in the teens, Kim.
All right, thanks a lot, Adam. I'm glad you're okay. That's my fault. I'm so short. That's my box that I have to stand on over there. Well, tonight, a Compassionate Police Department Award is on the way from PETA to the Manaway Police Department. On Sunday, Manaway Police rescued Rebecca Peterson and her dogs after falling through the ice in a Manaway reservoir. Thanks to Officer Brad Nelson, Peterson and her dogs escaped death. Now, a volunteer Manaway firefighter also cared for Peterson's dogs while she recovered from hypothermia at the hospital. Well, to show their thanks, PETA is giving the police department a certificate and a box of vegan chocolates. Good job, guys. Still ahead on the CW30 News at 9. Good for Utah, and the U.S. Marines, as well as Papa Murphy's, have teamed up this holiday season to help kids in need. You can give back right after this. Plus, since we're in the spirit of giving, we'll give you a sneak peek at the 45th Annual Festival of Trees event, how you can help benefit Primary Children's Hospital. Stay with us. Welcome back. Today marks the official start of the Festival of Trees. Now, yesterday we gave you a sneak peek at the 45th annual event. You may recall, it's all to benefit Primary Children's Hospital. Good for Utah's Felicia Martinez shows us what you can expect at the Southtown Expo Center.
Yeah, doors opened at 10 o'clock this morning, and they close at 10 o'clock tonight. And like you mentioned, this is the 45th year, and for that, 45 different flavors of fudge. 750 large and small shining trees, plus 125 handmade quilts, not to mention 120 gingerbread creations and beautiful wreaths, all donated for the 45th annual Festival of Trees.
Everything from Star Wars to jazz trees, BYU trees, Utah trees, of course.
The themes are endless, and each tree has a story of a loved one. But the quilts are also very unique.
Every one of them has a story and involves hours and hours and hours of work. And every single one piece, every stitch is donated by someone that loves the kids at Primary Children's Hospital.
From Playhouse Plaza to Fudge Corner and Gingerbread Village, the Festival of Trees is a family event to make tradition. And every penny made benefits the kids at Primary Children's Hospital.
We still have a lot of items for sale, and you can come on down and purchase them. Everything from large trees to small trees, centerpieces, quilts. We'd love to see you down here.
Well, today is Family Day, so that means Santa Claus will be here, and you can bring 6 family members and get in for just $18. Again, doors open at 10, they close at 10. It's now Wednesday until Saturday, so you're not going to want to miss it. We're at the Festival of Trees. I'm Felicia Martinez. Good for Utah.
Looks like a lot of fun. Another way to help children this holiday season is by donating to Toys for Tots. Good for Utah is teaming up with the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves and Papa Murphy's to support this great cause. The Marines want to collect 90,000 toys to help 25,000 Utah children in need. Just need to donate your new unwrapped toys at any Utah Papa Murphy's from now until December 20th. And when you do, you'll get a Papa Murphy's discount card.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Adam Carroll.
Hey, in case you weren't aware, it's National Mutt Day. Of course, the mutt is a 2-breed or more dog out there. Our Special Projects Manager, Ed Willits, this is his new dog, Pete. He's a Labradoodle, and you can see the dogs, the neighbor dogs next to him looking down at him saying, hey, who are you? And that's a cute dog right there. Now, of course, you can't go a day without seeing my dog, Jerry, and his new bone here. Of course, he's a mutt, too. He's a Mastiff and a Black Lab. So, hey, all those mutts out there, hey, you're not alone. There's definitely plenty of you out there. So, happy National Mutt Day to all the dogs. Now, in terms of temperatures, in terms of your high temperature, 39 was your temperature in Salt Lake. So, we have been warming gradually every day this week, and we'll continue to do so here as we head into that Friday time frame. But you can see all the blue. This is where the cold air still is, while southern Utah still remains fairly warm out there, but there's definitely some inversion in place. One of them is down in the Uinta Basin, where Vernal didn't even get out of the teens today. So you're in a pretty deep inversion, and Cache County as well. You're in the Cache Valley, or you're dealing with a pretty significant inversion as well. But look at all the yellow tomorrow. Really, it's just Tooele that is going to be in the green tomorrow. But this will get better by Friday, as we'll see good warming. We'll see some southerly winds out there that will kick out most of, if not all of, our inversions for a couple of days before it does return for the start of next week. But we had some high cloudiness here for a lot of the day. We had a little storm system grazing a lot of the western United States, but by the time we got to Utah, pretty much it was dried out. We didn't see a whole lot besides just some clouds out there, but you can see there's still plenty of snowfall across the mountainous locations. We may actually see a little bit of snow here Friday night as a cold front arrives, which has helped with that southerly wind that will, in terms of help that inversion get out of here, which will be nice. And of course, always a few inches of snow is nice in the mountains too. But we'll keep the inversion at bay down there in the Uinta Basin. So Vernon will be cold, fairly hazy as well. Also up in Cache County, it'll be still pretty established up there as well. But look at 40 for Salt Lake tomorrow. So that'll be nice. A lot of that melting snow will pretty much be all gone by tomorrow with those 40-degree temperatures. So that'll be nice. And we'll see some cloud cover across the high terrain, across southern Utah as well. And as we head over into places like southeastern Utah, still a fair amount of sunshine out there. But of course, the mountainous locations may see some high cloudiness. But central Utah looks pretty good. And then as we head into the Uinta Basin, once again, we will see the clouds around, but we'll also see pretty cold temperatures as well. But then as we head into the Wasatch Front, partly cloudy skies for pretty much most of the day tomorrow. But you'll see some breaks of sunshine too. The haze will be around. It will probably be a little bit worse tomorrow. We had a pretty thin layer of haze today, so it wasn't that bad today. We were most of the day in the green, believe it or not, in Salt Lake. But there will be more in terms of poor air tomorrow here than we saw the last couple of days, as that inversion really hits its peak tomorrow. But the good news is that it definitely will clear out here for the weekend, and we'll have a better weekend. But you can see here, we'll see a little bit more cloud cover ahead of that cold front in St. George. We won't really do a whole lot with temperatures down in St. George besides a couple of degrees. Start of Hanukkah Sunday night looks great, really all the way through the midweek time frame next week for St. George. And then we'll see the haze here tomorrow. You'll see a little bit more in the way of cloud cover. Fairly cloudy day Friday. Not a whole lot of precipitation expected except in the mountains, maybe a couple of inches there. Saturday, fair amount of sunshine. Sunday, that looks pretty good too. Decent weekend, we'll call it. And then as we head into next week, that haze comes back, high pressure builds back in. Not a lot of storms in sight, unfortunately, for now. So we'll have to keep talking about this inversion and this haze.
That's right. So carpool, do what you can.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Adam. Still ahead, British lawmakers debate on whether to expand airstrikes in Syria. Latest on their decision and the war against ISIS. Plus, activists in Chicago are celebrating tonight after the city's police superintendent is forced to resign. What the city's mayor says is in store for the Chicago Police Department.
You're watching Utah's CW30 News at 9.
Welcome back. Tonight, some activists in Chicago are praising the removal of Police Chief Gary McCarthy. That's after Rahm Emanuel asked McCarthy to resign. Officer Jason Van Dyke is accused of killing 17-year-old LaQuinn McDonald in October of 2014. He was shot 16 times. The police video of the incident was released last week, and it led to massive protests. Still, some say McCarthy's firing is only the first step.
We need to see total justice for those that have already been abused by the police, killed unjustly by the police, and the cycle continues.
Van Dyke is now facing murder charges. The city has set up a new task force on police accountability, and the state attorney general asked for a civil rights investigation of the police department. Today, two of the world's biggest military forces planned increased action in the war against ISIS. British lawmakers voted in favor of airstrikes against the extremist group's strongholds in Syria. The decision was made after a 10-hour debate. The German plan would activate 1,200 troops in anti-ISIS efforts, but in a support role and not direct combat. The news at 9 is about to wrap up, but our crews are working hard on another show for you tonight at 10 on our sister station, ABC4 Utah. We'll have the very latest on the shooting in San Bernardino, including Utah's connection to it, plus how you can handle your kids when it comes to situations like this. We'll chat with a child psychologist. And a woman has a run-in with two bail bondsmen in a case of mistaken identity. What they did to her and how they got into her hotel room in Cache County. Those stories and more coming up tonight at 10. We'll be right back.